Nigeria. Welcome to Active Citizens Parliament, right here on Active Citizens. My name is Sharon Enemchuku, and I'm your host for the show. Joining me in the studio, I have with me, as always, my beautiful co-host in person of Ifoma Oji. Good evening, namaste.
Carol,
how are you doing?
Carol, namaste.
Hey, how are you doing?
I'm great.
Nehi.
It's actually Tuesday, but I'm feeling like it's Friday.
I like the energy.
Yeah,
I like the energy. We love to see that. So I think this is the same energy that was felt at PDP headquarters in Abuja earlier today. Now we move over to the People's Democratic Party, that is already in full-blown turmoil. What was meant to be a decisive national convention over the weekend has exploded into a legal and political storm. A federal high court in Abuja slammed the brakes on the convention scheduled for Ibadan, stopping the PDP and INEC from taking any action. But in a dramatic twist, an Oyo State High Court gave a contradictory order, insisting the convention could go ahead. That clash of court ruling has thrown the PDP into confusion and open confrontation, and the tension boiled over today at the party's national headquarters in Abuja. Nyesom Wike, Governor Seyi Makinde and Governor Bala engaged in a heated face-off, each accusing the other of betrayal, sabotage, and pushing the party toward collapse. Amid the chaos, the PDP chairman issued an emotional appeal calling on President Donald Trump to intervene and save Nigeria's democracy. But before we take our comments, let's take a look at this viral video that has made its round on social media at PDP headquarters in Abuja earlier today.
Oh my God! Oh my God! Oh my God!
I want to call on President Trump. What is at stake is not just genocide against Nigerian Christians. He should come and save democracy in Nigeria. Democracy is under threat. I'm calling on all other developed nations, all advanced democracies, come and save Nigeria. Come and save democracy. Because I cannot understand how of the Federal Republic of Nigeria will be leading talks, armed talks, and then with the active connivance or support of the police to come and create mayhem here. I have said it, we are willing to lay down our lives to protect our office, to protect our democracy, to protect our mandate. So Nigerians, you are watching what is happening. International community, you are seeing the threat that Nigerian democracy is. Come and save us. Come and save us. Thank you.
Which governor is this?
That's
Can you now see that it was nice you left the outside inside? Go inside, you now.
All right, we just saw those videos. This is exactly what happened and went down in Abuja earlier today, where they had a clash in Abuja. Now, Governor Seyi Makinde, Bala Mohammed, and the newly appointed chairman of PDP were refused entry at PDP headquarters in Abuja earlier today. Now, what we thought was going to be an easy dialogue turned into a rather violent attack. Now, the camp from Governor Seyi Makinde and Bala Mohammed saying that they must be granted entry, and they finally were granted entry. And as they got to the PDP headquarters, we saw that clash between even police against police force, their armed security versus Wike's faction armed security that said that they would not allow them in to hold their national meeting earlier today. But let's get to your thoughts on what we just saw that went down earlier today, Foma.
Hey, God. I believe Nigerians are seeing their leaders, right? The leaders they are hoping on and they are counting on for, change in the society. It is I don't know why every single time these leaders take it upon themselves to embarrass and disgrace, humiliate themselves and humiliate Nigerians at large. It's so sad to see every single time. It's more like this November is packed with embarrassment and, humiliation and harassment this particular November. But I guess we are in to savour everything.
We're in for a ride, exactly. For a long ride.
Yeah, but a quick one here. Earlier, we were already aware of the convention that I held, was it last week, where the Seyi Makinde-led group insisted on the convention after getting a clearance from the court. You understand? Then Wike insisting that that particular convention is not going to be held because, according to him, that it was actually unlawful for them to hold the convention without everybody, consenting to it. And they went ahead to have a convention. And then after the convention, they arrived at a new chairman who will now chair the activities of the party, restore peace and stability in the party. And then this particular new development right now, it started at exactly 7 a.m. where Samuel Anyanwu and his men mounted at Wadata, Wadata in Abuja, National Secretariat Conference, this thing in Abuja. And I was following this particular story live where Mary Chinda of Arise News was actually reporting this live there. So she was there presently and she got to interview Samuel Anyanwu, who said that he came, and him and his group actually came for BOT meeting, which was scheduled to hold around 11 a.m. and then neck meeting, which was supposed to scheduled to hold around 2 p.m. today. So that they've already alerted the security personnel to be present for the meeting to guard, the governors and politicians because of pickpocketing and the rest of them. And then she got to interview him. She asked him, are you aware that Seyi Makinde's led, group, they were supposed to come here for inaugural meeting today, and he said as long as he is concerned that there is nothing like new national chairman, that there's nothing like that it was not it was unlawful. And remember that Wike actually called it reckless, that it was equally unlawful, that there was no convention. According to himself, there was no convention at all, and the whole drama, the whole everything was going down, where even the lady interviewed him, asking him, okay, are you aware that they are coming here? He said that nobody is going to come here. If they come here, that means they are ready for war. So it was more like they were already prepared for anything that could go down today. And Nigerians are, watching the political showdown of two parties in one particular party. And then we saw Seyi Makinde and Bala coming to the the conference meeting, and they refused them entrance. The security personnel, we saw police fighting police. I don't know why.
I'm sorry, I have to cut you short there. Sorry, because we still have to have a conversation about what's going on. I believe if you want to get a total breakdown, the videos are going to do you justice. But we appreciate that. Now we're going straight into the discussion, exactly what has happened and what this confrontation means for PDP. Now, this is a battle that has been long existing, and after that convention, there were lots of speculation surrounding what would happen after that meeting. Now, this particular showdown that went on earlier this morning, do you think that this is showing a sort of breach in that unity that we thought that they were going to be able to achieve at the convention, or has this further exposed the crisis within the PDP?
Yes, it shows that there was no unity in the first place, and the unity that we are trying to bring, or the people that they were trying to bring together and expel some people out because they were causing disrupting the party's stability. It shows that everything was nullified, everything was not valid in the first place, and it disposes, or it exposes the PDP to more internal issues, you understand, because a situation whereby they cannot keep down their issues or settle their disputes internally, it means that there shouldn't even be peace accord in the first place. There shouldn't even be convention in the first place. And it's totally sad to see and witness.
But a lot of people would argue in favor of what we saw today. When I say favor, I mean the violence from Wike faction and Seyi Makinde and the Bauchi governor, where we are seeing them refusing to be intimidated, because it was first the Wike's faction that went to block them entry, right? And we're seeing this happen now for a long time now. A lot of people have come to say that it's high time PDP sacks Wike officially and other members of the party that is causing havoc to the party. Now, with Wike going ahead to first block them entry into the PDP and them refusing to come into, like a lot of Nigerians, do you think that this is a situation of the righteous or the violence taking things by force?
Yes, that is exactly what's happening, because according to Wike, he is not expelled. He can never be expelled from PDP. That's what he came out to say. And we now saw that the PDP governors and other stakeholders collaborated to kind of expel him from PDP, and he is refusing the expulsion. We could see that showdown there, and it's as if Wike is having the upper hand. Wike has the powers to actually revolt against this set of new administration. And yeah, and it is.
And one person can't have so much power that they're more powerful than in an
He
entire
has
political
supporters,
party.
exactly.
But if you look at that video, there's another video where you would see people on the streets with sticks. That's even before Governor Seyi Makinde entered into the PDP building. If the technical team can help us with that, where before they entered, we saw supporters hailing Seyi Makinde, hailing Bala Mohammed. These are people on the streets. They are not armed forces or armed men or people from security agencies. They were just people who saw what was happening in the area and started to support, Seyi Makinde and the rest. Now, let's talk about them for a minute. Do you think this is signaling the grassroots or the public support for a particular faction in PDP?
Yes, I guess everybody is over and done with Wike. Wike has wielded power. Wike has, committed a lot of atrocities in not just FCT, but I think Nigeria as a at large. And you could see that he doesn't even work for the PDP. He is not a loyalist of PDP. He is rather, working for the APC to destroy PDP the more. So people are already seeing this in the atmosphere, and they've chosen to, side Seyi Makinde and his own group against FCT Minister Wike. So that's basically what we are.
And then this would mean a whole lot if you have the public, because it seems for a long time, even with a lot of politicians coming to say that the PDP is dead and buried, now this would signal a turning point for the PDP if they are getting or they're resurrecting the trust that a lot of Nigerians used to have when it concerns them as a major opposition party in Nigeria. But let's still take a look at this back and forth. Now, even after they gained entry, we saw the newly appointed PDP national chairman coming out to say that they have postponed their next meeting because of what transpired earlier in the day. But it was, do you consider it a victory, the fact that they were still able to hold a meeting even after the chaos that transpired outside earlier?
This case is a case of the winner takes it all. And we could see that Wike, as a matter of fact, have actually, won to an extent, even though the next meeting was actually postponed. But they were able to have the first meeting, which was the BOT meeting. They held the BOT
are you talking about Wike?
Yes, Wike faction. The national secretary, they said earlier that they were supposed to have a BOT meeting. After the meeting, then they will proceed to have a neck meeting.
I'm talking about the meeting that we saw online from Governor Bala Mohammed. He was the one that was saying all of these things, that they had postponed the next meeting.
Okay, yeah, we could actually see that Wike have already won. That is exactly what
Bala is not supporting Wike.
They've postponed the meeting. That's what
I'm
so
you are saying that the entire point of the meeting or the gathering was not achieved.
For the fact that they didn't achieve the meeting, it means that Wike have already taken the crown at the end
So
of
you
the
don't
day.
see it as any victory for the other faction that is led by, even George Bode and also Governor Bala Mohammed and Seyi Makinde and the rest?
I think maybe everybody kind of in a way emerged victorious here, because I believe that Bala and his group, they didn't want that meeting to happen in the first place, and they came to have their own inaugural meeting in the same venue. So since you don't want us to have meeting, you will not equally have meeting. So everybody won at the end of the day.
At the end of the day, they still were not able to achieve the next meeting, which I think was the original plan. But it is rather interesting to see that the other faction now, the anti-Wike faction, and people that are like the Bala Mohammed and Seyi Makinde and the rest of them, were still able to gain entry into the building as of the time Wike and his people refused them entry. Now, even after that meeting did not hold and they addressed the public, when he came out, he had a little, will I call it a press conference sort of, where he addressed the public, but he made a rather interesting plea in that very video. Let's have a look and return to the studio.
I want to call on President Trump. What is at stake is not just genocide against Nigerian Christians. He should come and save democracy in Nigeria. Democracy is under threat. I'm calling on all other developed nations all advanced democracies, come and save Nigeria, come and save democracy. Because I cannot understand how a serving minister of the Federal Republic of Nigeria will be leading talks, armed talks, and then with the active connivance or support of the police to come and create mayhem here. I have said it, we are willing to lay down our lives to protect our office, to protect our democracy, to protect our mandate. So Nigerians, you are watching what is happening. International community, you are seeing the threat that Nigerian democracy is. Come and save us. Come and save us. Thank you, sir.
It's been a rather interesting turn of events after that both earlier today. Now we are seeing the newly appointed PDP chairman coming out to call on to President Donald Trump of the United States to come to the aid of Nigeria. But now, not for the Christian genocide alone going on, but to save democracy. So now there are two issues that the current chairman of PDP has raised. It's the Christian genocide and the state of our democracy. He is pleading with the United States to save democracy in Nigeria as the state of democracy is being threatened. Now, Ifoma, when the United States, especially the president and President Donald Trump, came out to make that statement saying that they were going to invade Nigerian terrorists, a lot of politicians came out to defend the Nigerian government while others were being quiet. Now, when this is happening, after we're seeing this in the news, is this as a result of some parties trying to solve personal issues, or is this really a case of our democracy being threatened here?
It's quite funny how in every situation right now we beckon on President.
It's like
Donald
they forgot
Trump.
that he was there before. How long they saw them, we are not remembering him.
Now, weeks ago, the public, the entire Nigeria was crying and clamoring. Remember Reverend Dachomo screaming and pleading with Donald Trump to come and save the Christians. He didn't come out this particular.
I think they did not know it would get to Donald Trump.
Yes, he didn't come out to call on Donald Trump to come and save Nigeria. Now, because of the fact that they've already had a convention and they've appointed him as the new chairman of PDP, he can't achieve his aim as the new PDP chairman. He's now beckoning on the presidency to come and save PDP democracy. Or come and save democracy. The president is not coming to save PDP, your party. It is only you and your cohorts that will save your party. The president is not coming to do anything about your party. As long as everybody in your position, so long as you're holding leadership position in Nigeria, they will tell you that there is no threat on democracy. It's only Nigerians that will tell you that there is threat on democracy. So when it does not favor you, you call on the president of the United States of America. But when it favors you, you will not call on him. Rather, you will deny that there is anything. There's nothing like Christian genocide, or there is anything like democracy being threatened. It's only you that will save your party and not the president.
I like that you said that, right? So it's as though you were making mention of the fact that we saw Reverend Ezekiel in the beginning when he was calling on Donald Trump to come to the rescue of Christians in Nigeria. And I think really what happened that period was that a lot of people did not know or did not think that that message would reach to the doorstep of President Donald Trump. Now, this is something that we have not seen like before. It's not as though Reverend Ezekiel was one of the powerful pastors we had in Nigeria. And he didn't have the audience, he didn't have the numbers. He was just a concerned pastor, a concerned priest over his church that was concerned about the incessant killing in northern Nigeria against Christians by the Islamists, and he's raised his voice. Now, do we think, now you've rightfully said that it is not for President Donald Trump to intervene in Nigerian party political affairs. Now, do we think that a lot of people have come out to, one, ride on the attention that we have been able to get on the Christian genocide going on in Nigeria? And two, do you think that even with people trying to ride on that attention that we have gotten, that we are seeing politicians now trying to shift the focus from what actually brought the attention from the United States?
It's clearly what we're actually seeing right now, because I don't see a reason whereby you'll be calling on the presidency on things that you're supposed to sort internally, even if it has spiraled into, you know, more chaos and more chaotic situations. There are still ways you guys can go about it. You still have the court. You know, the presidency is equally there for you to, you know, seek his own attention or urge him to, you know, step in the entire thing that is going on. I believe he has a role to play in this entire thing. And then again, why am I even talking about them, the presidency weighing in the entire thing, when this PDP is supposed to stand as an opposition party? Imagine an opposition party, this whole thing, the atmosphere in the opposition party is this chaotic. It means that APC have already taken the win. They don't even need to campaign again. What they just need to do is, maybe when it's approaching 2027, they will be playing these chaotic videos up and down for people, and people will now decide that, okay, we already see that there is a lot of internal disputes within PDP, and it has spiraled into the public space. So it's better we choose the ones that we feel like is still, you know, together. They are still united. It is quite a sad situation.
It is quite sad. And I don't know what it's expected of Nigerians to really look forward to in situations like this. I don't know if they should look forward to a negotiated settlement, whether it's more court battles or a total party implosion. Speaking of the PDP now this particular plea that he made, let's talk about the democracy in Nigeria. But before we even touch on that, let's look at the judiciary system in Nigeria. Two conflicting court orders on the same case. When was the last time we heard of something like this, where we have a court ruling in Abuja, a second ruling that is aware of that court ruling in Abuja, but then brings another court ruling in Oyo State? Now, the party decides to hold the convention strategically in the states that gave them the ruling to go ahead. They didn't hold this convention in Lagos or in Nasarawa. They held it in Ibadan because it was your state high court that gave them the go ahead. So let's touch a little. If our judiciary is as it is now, do we think that we can still, you know, hold a grasp to our democracy?
Sharon, the truth is that there's a lot to be fixed in the system. You know, when you're trying to, you know, advocate for peace, or rather beckon on this particular institution to weigh in and help, you will still see that that institution is still fragile and feeble. You understand? So there is a lot of things that need to be fixed. Now, the judicial system, you already mentioned that the Oyo State Court already gave a go-ahead order. It means that the Oyo State Court that gave the the go-ahead order is maybe somehow compromised, and then the Wike court that equally gave the restriction or restricted them from having a convention in the first place. You could see that there is possibility that they are equally compromised. So at the end of the day, who do you run to? If the judicial system in Nigeria does not work, who do you run to? Is it the president of the USA that you run to? Is it the presidency of the president of Nigeria that you run to? It's literally like, Nigeria is just a lawless nation, but as it stands right now, and I really don't know where democracy stands here.
Also, to point that there were a lot of battles before this national convention that they wanted to hold, especially the Wike faction. They totally disagreed with holding that convention. Do you think that they came out to give a reason, being that the PDP did not go through the appropriate procedures or the right process before holding the national convention? That it wasn't signed by the national chairman and the secretary, and there were a lot of denial saying that they forged a signature, all of these things. Do you think that maybe Wike and his faction, they saw what was to come? They were able to look into the future and see a possible expulsion. Could that have been a reason why this particular national convention was so hardly fought, or was it really because of principles?
You know, looking back at it, I feel like this was actually planned in the first place. It's as if they had a round table. Wike and his cohorts had a round table, and they decided, okay, the first step, this is what we are going to do. We are going to ensure that we restrict the convention, the upcoming convention, and from there we are going to be expelled, and from the expulsion we are going to prevent the new national chairman from having access into the national.
So you think every single action was premeditated?
Yes, I feel every action was actually premeditated. They foresaw this whole thing that was going to, you know, happen. And I am still asking, how is it that one person is able to, you know, become the presidency, the president of Nigeria, and equally the president of FCT,
and president of PDP,
and president of PDP, and maybe possibly APC too. I don't really understand the kind of power. Maybe the president needs to really explain to us the meeting he had with Wike behind closed doors that is enabling Wike.
That's
because
another thing, the federal backing.
Yes, I don't really understand why the president in everything, the whole, what's it called, the election that was held in what is it, I'm trying to remember, there was an election that was held, is it in FCT? I'm trying to remember the particular state where what is it called? It's not Seyi Makinde. I'm trying to remember.
Is it not your state?
Oh, yeah, I think that should be your state. There's a particular certain governor that was ousted, that was given suspension.
In Rivers.
In Rivers State, exactly. And like, how is it that Wike was able to, you know, kind of hold the election in that state, a state that you're no longer, you know, the governor, the presiding officer of the state, you're still able to control it from wherever you are. I don't really understand, but I think we need to ask the president what is really going on.
That's actually the question that I had next. The relationship between the federal power and Wike. Now, talking about the presidency, although it's encouraged that we've seen a lot of defections, we've seen Enugu State defect, we've seen Bayelsa State defect to the APC, a lot of defections really, but the sort of relationship that Wike has or holds with the current presidency, it's quite interesting. Now, Ifoma, do you think it is born out of a healthy political father, will I even call it father-son or father-friend relationship, or this is something more?
I think it's more than a father and son relationship. I think this is it's more stronger. The bond is much stronger, even though we don't get to see it in the public space. Maybe the governor, I say the FCT minister going to visit the presidency, the president, and having maybe lunch or dinner with him or sleeping in his house. Maybe we are yet to see that in the public space, but it seems there is something that Wike promised the presidency, and there is something the presidency equally promised Wike, and maybe there is something like maybe an oath or blood ties, you know, holding them together, that one cannot.
Blood ties.
Maybe it's possible. It's possible.
Is there a possibility that Wike is a long lost relative of the president?
How is it that Wike is able to hold this kind of power? Tell me. There's no logical explanation. You know, back then, in when I was little, they will tell you about this oath. When you are in love with somebody, they will tell you, okay, let's have a blood covenant, and you have a blood. Maybe there is anything, something like
blood covenant between Wike and
that would be interesting. That the presidency cannot stop this nonsense. It's too much. It has become too much. Something needs to be done about this as fast as possible.
As fast as possible, honestly. And you know, I think this is also about drawing the line, having boundaries. It is really healthy to hold. You know, all of these healthy relationships and hold the forte when you are having political relationships, really. But the thing remains the fact that there are some relationships that when you leave unmonitored, or when you just let slide, it will just continue and become something else, something even bigger than what it's supposed to be. And I just think that is the situation that we are seeing with Wike and the presidency. Even as we are trying to connect to the federal power, I don't think it necessarily has to be on a personal basis. It should be strictly business, strictly political. After that, anything else should be questioned and should be queried by Nigerians. Anyway, this is where we are going to call it a wrap for the evening. Thank you so much, Ifoma Oji, for your brilliant takes on the conversation this evening. Always a pleasure doing this with you. And to our viewers, if you're watching for the first time, This is Active Citizens Parliament, where we discuss Nigerian politics. If you're yet to subscribe to the YouTube channel, please endeavor to do that and follow us across all social media platforms. Ifoma.
You can find me on Facebook at Oji Sophia and on Instagram at Misolex.
All right, my name is still Sharon NM Chuku, your host, and it's Sharon NM Chuku across all social media. So we'll come your way again later tomorrow. Do have a great evening.